who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they must feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calmed. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS, and abolishcpus.com is leading the way. Join us.
All right, good evening, everybody, on this Friday Eve. I am Vinny, and we are CPS Victims Hunting for Justice. Darren is at the hospital right now, so he asked me to take over the show. I don't know what's going on there, but please all keep them in your prayers and thoughts. Him and Mary at the hospital. I'm gonna bring Mr. Herbert out with me. Mr. Herbert, here you come. Good evening, Mr. Herbert.
Hello, Darren. Hello, Vinny. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself, sir?
Good. Is Darren okay?
I don't know. He called me and said he didn't know what was going on. But I think he's gonna try to pop in if he can. Um, so I don't know. He asked me to kind of cover tonight, so I told him I would. Sorry, I'm a little bit
Okay.
late, you guys, but I just
I
got
get it.
home, walked in the door.
I understand. I understand. So is it Darren or is it Mary?
I think it's Mary. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay. It's Mary. So it's Mary that's having some illness.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I hope she's going to be okay.
I hope so too. Hey, Carrie, how
Yeah.
are you doing tonight? How's things going on your end? So,
Hello. Hi, Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
I read something and I sent it to Darren, and I wanted to like point this out to you guys, because I didn't get to talk much about it yesterday on the show. I was gonna do it on my show tomorrow, but I'm trying to work on getting my lawyer to come on the show tomorrow. So, um, that's what I'm working on my end. Oh, there's
What's his
Darren right there.
opposition? What's your lawyer's opposition?
Um, I don't know what's going on with him. Hey, Darren. Hope everything's
Hi,
okay,
Darren.
man.
Hello, Darren.
Oh, he froze, I think. No news yet. Been super busy researching your stuff and mine, and Colton was home today from school. Ah, okay.
Who's that from? Carrie?
Yeah, that's from Carrie.
Okay.
Yeah, because I asked her to look into a couple things for me.
So what is your attorney's objective? What is he reluctant to coming on the show?
I'm hoping to like get him to realize that there's a lot going on, and I mean I know he sees it. I know that he sees the corruption that's going on a daily, in all the cases that he deals with. Whether or not he wants to come on and talk about it is up to him. I would love to have him come on the show and discuss a little bit about what he sees on a daily, so we can ask him questions. Um, because he is really a great CPS attorney. And not only is he a CPS attorney, he's a criminal prosecuting attorney as well. So that kind of helps on both sides, because if you got a criminal case and you got a CPS case, he can do one of
like 20
one of
minutes.
two.
I was out there for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it
But you can,
sounds like it. Sounds like you can do both.
You guys all right, Darren?
Hey,
I don't
Darren,
know.
can you hear us?
I don't know if he can hear us.
yeah, we're good.
We could see you. Are you good? We can see you, but the audio, we can't hear you.
I'll just be listening.
It's coming in broken. You're coming in broken up.
Yeah, he is.
You may have to move in a different area of that hospital.
Yeah, I'll just be listening. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, he'd probably just watch. So there's this thing I found, and I wanted to read this to you guys because this was interesting when I found it. Um, it's called Corruption Watch. Um, and it has every single state. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, all the way down the line. And it states Child Protective Services, CPS, is the name of a government agency in many states of the United States responsible for providing child protection, which include the responding to reports of child abuse or neglect. Some states use other names, often attempting to reflect more family centered as attempting to oppose a child center. Practice such as the Department of Children and Family Services, DCFS. CPS is also sometimes known by the name the Department of Social Services, DSS, or simply Social Services for short, though these terms more often have a border meaning. Wiki Child Protective Services. U.S. Federal Child Protective Laws, Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, CAPA, Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA, Multi Ethnic Placement Act, MEPA, Adoption and Safety Family Act, AFFA, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Section 504. Title II of the Americans with Disability Act of 1990, ADA. 42 USC Section 1983, and depending on the circumstances, 1985. And they have like, this site has everything, like the whole list of names for CPS, and they have all the stories of the Child Protective Services failing and child deaths all down the line. Like this is a full on nationwide crisis that we're going through right now.
Yes.
CPS
And what's
is
the name?
not.
And what's the name of that periodical article you're reading?
Hold on, I will put it in here so everyone can go look at this article, because it has a lot of information on it, and there is so much to be reading about into this. I came across it today, and I was like, "Huh, ain't that funny?" So this will be you. It's all. I'm trying to put it in, but it's a long word.
Can you say what it is?
It's www.corruptionwatchusa.com. I just put it in.
Yeah, I just saw it. Okay. Yeah, every state, CPS is under a different name. I know in my state, it has something to do with home, whatever you said before. Something. Look at Arizona. What does it say?
Hold on. Let me go back up to it.
Because it's not just CPS.
You said Arizona?
Yeah.
Hold on. Well, it says Arizona DCS corruption.
DCS corruption?
Yeah, Arizona people against DCS corruption in a platform where people in Arizona who have cases or evidence about DCS corruption can have a profile linked with all their evidence and help other people add evidence to their case by sharing yours. This way, there will be less policy corruption, more accountability, and less abuse.
Interesting. How about Iowa?
Iowa.
That's Carrie's country. Yeah, Carrie's country.
Iowa. All right. Iowa is CPS corruption. It basically states about close to the same thing. But this one has upload for case files to online library and label your cases and documents. Get an online library for your case evidence. How to organize your case against Iowa CPS.
Mm.
So, Carrie, you might
Interesting.
want to look into that site I put in there too, because that might benefit you. But Lynn just found something too. Family of 9-year-old who died in DCS custody files wrongful death suit. Records show Jacob Bulgett died after DCS employees at the Phoenix Group home let him refuse his insulin. So that's medical neglect, which they did with my child,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
and this was on ABC 15 Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
A
It
9-year-old.
sounds like it.
So
That's a
to
9-year-old.
go,
He died 18 days after being placed in DCS custody.
Oh my! And the kid was 9 years old.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Wow.
Because he refused to take his insulin. Probably because he didn't want somebody else but his family to give it to him.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's like abuse. I mean, by having the child out with other people, I mean, I can understand why the kid doesn't want to be administered any medication except for his mommy or daddy.
Yeah.
And then they talk about corruption and abuse. That's corruption and abuse right there.
Well, see, I mean, there is this one report up here that I found myself. And it secret courts and secret decisions call for transparency in Maine's child welfare system. And it reads, do confidential rules protect children and their families or shield government agencies from public scrutiny? On a gray morning last week, former Senate Bill Diamond stood at the rally in front of the State House and implored Maine's government to do more to prevent child abuse and be transparent about its efforts. A nearby sign attached to a stone column listed the names of 8 Maine children on blue sneakers, 8 children who have died in the past 3 decades and whose names have become symptomatous with the state child welfare system, including Medic Williams, Marissa Kenny, and Logan Marr. Diamond was just describing a horrific addition to the list. 10-year-old Braxton Smith died at a Bangor hospital in February. Police said that the boy's death followed months. Yeah, it just like jumped up on me. Um, Followed months of physical abuse by his mother, father, and grandmother, who have all been charged with depraved indifference murder. Diamond wanted to know if Maine's Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the state child protective system, had ever made contact with the boy who was homeschooled or his family. The department has refused to say, citing confidentiality laws. There are good reasons for confidentiality, Diamond said, but in terms of transparency, it's apparent over the years that they're used that as a reason not to talk to at all. I think they are opening their I think they are opening there where they could talk and they could help the situation. Others who are at the rally agreed. A social worker called for the department to stop operating behind closed doors. A school superintendent implored the state to open up the system to we know what we're working with. A foster mom said it is critical for the iron curtains to be pulled back so we can get the transparency needed to reform policies and continue to fail our children. And
Hmm.
this is
Interesting.
them going after Maine CPS. So,
Yes.
and I know this story because, the child that they're talking about in this, I met his father when I was in jail. I'm busy.
Wow.
Sorry.
So you actually met the father.
I did. And I didn't
Wow.
realize it until I seen the news report on him and his mother
Yes.
and his wife. Well, his wife was
Yes.
a former CPS worker herself,
Yes.
which is why they didn't look into it.
Uh-huh. So they had a reason for not looking into it.
Yeah. They were protecting one of their own.
Mm-hmm.
So for people to say that CPS isn't playing by the rules, you people are right.
Mm-hmm.
They are not
Mm-hmm.
playing by the rules. They are not following policies and procedures. They are not adhering to what we set out for them to begin with.
Wow. That's a shame. Debbie Anderson is saying something about Channel 12 in Wichita, I guess, Kansas, down a bus to child that was adopted in the backyard. It's been there for years. I'm not sure what she's trying to explain. Can you figure that out?
Yeah, I don't. Channel 12 in Wichita, Kansas, down a bus to child that was adopted in the backyard, and it's been there for years. Debbie, what are you
Okay.
talking about?
Yeah. I'm Debbie, and read what you just wrote because it's a little confusing to us, so we can kind of understand it and talk about it. But if you read it yourself, you'll see maybe you could just freshen it up a little bit. Cops beat us up in Bangor, terrorized my children. Oh, who is this? Brenda? Is that Brenda?
No,
American Pie?
American Pie is, yeah, Brenda. Yep,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
I saw that she said that her husband's still in jail. I got out because my parents put their house up. Brenda. That's the only reason I was able to get out. Otherwise, there was no way. I couldn't afford $50,000 bail. There's no way. That is overstepping that reach.
Gotcha. Brenda, try to read what you wrote so we can understand about the bus, the child, and the backyard. We're trying to put that together.
No, that's Debbie Anderson that
I mean,
wrote that.
Debbie. I'm sorry, Debbie. Yeah, Debbie. Something about the bus, and I'd like to understand what Debbie was trying to explain to us. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, Brenda's saying that Chris has no bond, so he's still in jail. I guess he's still in Dixie County. Am I correct? He's in Dixie County in Florida. By the way, how did the storm affect Dixie County? The hurricane they had down in Florida. Did you have anybody, Vinny, in any states like in Georgia or Florida that was affected by the storm?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I don't have anyone down that way really.
Okay.
But yeah, that this story on the Press Herald goes on and on. Um, you guys should really check out the Portland Press Herald and see what's being said about CPS in Maine because it's not. This was updated as of August 8th.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
So
recent.
yeah, it's bad up here. Like Darren always says, people really don't understand what's going on in Maine. Um, it's pretty far deep. Not only is it the judges, it's the DAs, it's the AAGs, um, it's CPS, it's their co-counsels, it's everyone, even the from to the doctors and counselors. Um, Matter of fact, I got a message from my friend Chris today, and she said to me that her lawyer in her case just caught fraud upon one of the people um representing CPS. Casa lied under oath.
Really?
So now they're slapping them with a perjury order
I can
because they
imagine that.
perjured themselves on the stand.
Yes.
So believe me when I tell you that these people are doing everything they can to take our children. She even put in there that the text messages they supposedly had against her husband at the time, they made up and they were falsified. Like they kind of did it to me, falsified.
Uh-huh. Well, they did. You mentioned how the law enforcement wrote a report up saying one thing, and then when the caseworker got up on a stand, she said it totally different.
And they're still saying these text messages are real. Even Richard told me, he's like, they're still going on, and the same with Lynn's attorney, they're still going off of these text messages.
Logan Markey.
Yeah.
Wow.
He died.
Carrie mentioned about a caseworker that was charged with perjury in Iowa, and a couple of years ago, the person got put on probation. That's it.
That's crazy, Carrie. Yeah, they do not do a lot with these caseworkers that are violating policy and procedures, lying under oath. It's because they have immunities. You don't realize it, but they do. Because they're a foreign identity and not of the states, they have immunity.
Yeah.
Which
So they got no jail time. They just got probation for 2 years.
yeah, they get a slap on the fucking hand and get to go on their way.
Yeah. Well, I don't
And
know if
that's
it's 2
wrong.
years, but they got put on probation.
Even
They
probation.
get slapped on the hand. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a slap on the wrist.
and it shouldn't be like that. We
No,
we we get scrutinized as parents for them saying, "Oh, you neglected your kids or you um abused your kids either emotionally, sexually, physically." How do you know? Do you live in my goddamn house?
Right. I think I was abused.
no, but one thing we do know when the child is with strangers, foster parents, that all kinds of things happen, and CPS doesn't seem to take any action against them.
Jason Katz in Florida is trafficking children. Do you have proof of that, Brenda? Like actual physical proof? Because nowadays, to prove anything, you need physical evidence of everything.
Where can we find that information, Brenda, about Jason? Where can we look? So I'd like to know where we could look up something about Jason Katz trafficking children.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out, really.
I think so. Yeah. So anything new with your case personally?
I haven't heard anything today. I kind of, what? Oh, you would need a link. All right, hold on, Ashley.
That's Ashley.
Let me grab it for you, and I'll drop it in here. I kind of pissed. I think I pissed off my criminal defense attorney. Because I told him how it was today. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with this DA getting away with lying on a court document because he lied on his motion against my motion for bail amendment. He lied and said that CPS doesn't want me to have my bail amended. CPS told my actual CPS attorney that they take no objection in me getting my bail amended. They're just not allowing visitations. But that's not up to them. It's up to the judge, and the judge ruled that I could have my visitation.
Gotcha.
So CPS is going against the court order. The jeopardy order also reads that they're supposed to be in contact with my sister, and here it is, end of the week, and they still have not contacted her whatsoever.
What if your sister were to contact CPS and say, "Hey, I missed your call," something like that?
Nope. They're supposed to reach out to her by email or by a voice message, and they have not done so. And my
I
attorney
know.
wants them to do it. That is their job. It's written in the order that they are to contact my sister, and that's what's supposed to happen.
I know. I get that. I get that. But what if your sister got proactive and said, "Hey, maybe I missed your email. I know you're supposed to contact me. Here I am." That type of thing.
It's not supposed to be that way, Herbert. They have to
No.
it's court order that they reach out to her. They have to
Oh, they're
follow
not.
that court order, and if they don't, we can hit them with an injunction.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole aspect behind this.
I see.
And hold on,
When they
Ashley,
reach
I
out
just
to
see
your
what we got
sister,
coming.
when they reach out to your sister, what are they going to say to her?
They have to get information from her. Because
Doesn't seem like there's much.
right now they're trying to say that my sister lives in this house, and I beg to differ because I used to live at my sister's house, and my sister
Mm-hmm.
definitely does not live in this house.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Ashley. Good evening. How are you?
It's been a long week, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. I
Lots of
definitely feel
drama.
that. So, anything new on your side, Ashley? Have you found
Well,
any?
not with my case, but with everything else in my life, yeah.
Good, bad, and different?
Yeah, good and bad and different, like a little bit of all.
Yeah.
My fiance went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Not Cocoa Puffs, but just went a little cuckoo. And there was a domestic violence issued, not like I wouldn't say like a restraining order, but an incident. And it came to the point where I am now in a shelter. So.
Oh wow. I'm sorry, honey. That's
I'm
rough.
okay. I don't know why. That's all that matters.
I'm just glad to hear that you're safe, though.
Yeah. I lost everything, but those are just material items. They can be replaced.
True that.
Other than that, just another day. I was just a little setback on my own case because of all that went on this week, and now I've got all my research and everything I've ever written down, all my notes, anything that was for court is apparently all burned up in the fire that he had, the bonfire that he had with all my items. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you caught some of my case, but I didn't have my bail hearing yesterday. The judge decided to continue it until the judge who changed my bail looked over the case. So that makes it the second time a judge has raised their eyebrow at this case.
Oh, that judge is not happy.
Yeah, no, they're not. And the judge kind of looked at me like, why are you even in my courtroom? Kind of look.
Yeah, why aren't you more outraged that you're back here?
So I'm having Carrie help me work on a motion of fraud upon the court because CPS is frauding the state and frauding the government, and I found the proof.
I've got a good one for you for that. I've got one that I sent to the ombudsman of foster care, and they actually replied, and they're doing an investigation just on the fraud part alone. They didn't care about anything else in the case because they really can't change anything. But the
Right.
fraud, they really don't like that.
Yeah.
So I'll send you a copy of what I sent them and see if you can bounce something off of it or take some
Yeah,
of it
'cause
out, take something out of it.
I'll change it up and put it in my AI and see what my AI has to say.
Yeah.
Because I got told that my writ is dead on, and the
Nice.
case law that you sent me is dead on. So
Nice.
that was appreciated to hear from my CPS attorney, and
Oh,
he
heck
thinks
yeah.
I should file it. So I'm working on finishing it up, and I'm gonna file it.
Awesome. I'm really close to the federal building myself. I think I was going to file mine next week.
I'm tired of all the BS that's going on
Mm-hmm.
and them getting
Mm-hmm.
away with. My daughter was just sick. She had 103, 104 temperature, and they didn't even
Oh
bring
no.
her to the hospital to be checked
Oh,
out.
that's
They,
horrible.
yeah,
God, they don't do anything right with the kids these days.
yes, fraud is an attention grabber. Matter of fact, I read something today, Carrie, that stated when you do the fraud upon the court, they have to adhere to it and investigate it. And if they do not do that, you can go back and have them put in something or another. I was reading a thing on it. Fraud by, I'm trying to find it again. Right here. A fraud investigation involving CPS. And it says stealing kids for money, CPS fraud exposed in a audiobook by Angela Waters and AI Remedy.
What was her name?
Angela Waters.
Angela Waters. Okay.
Where's Angela Waters located?
It doesn't say where she's from.
What year was this written?
But it does state that fraud upon the court by officers of the court in a child dependency case where CPS completely fabricates a case to open against a family or child.
And what year was this written?
Let me look. Oh, this was I think out of Ohio, it says. This was wrote by attorney Bruce. Child protection law, family law, legal representative.
I think I might have said that to Darren one time. Because Bruce, that sounds familiar. I sent it to you, wasn't it? Because I read that article as well. And then that was Ohio.
Yeah, he's got a like a big thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a lot of followers from what it shows. It said 5-star rating with 39,180 satisfied customers. And this was posted, it was answered 2 years ago.
Yep, I definitely know that one.
Yeah, he's out of California. Specializes include CA real estate, child protection law, family law, legal real estate, and estate law. So he's got a lot of law under his belt.
And he's out of California.
Yeah. I think I've seen some of his YouTubes because he does do a YouTube. Yeah, Ashley breaks it out. It happens with Ashley. You get used to it.
Oh yeah, I just turned my microphone off because there's other people around me, so I don't want to catch the background noise. I try to turn it off.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it is. It's a crackling sound when you're talking.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
probably what
it's
it
because
is.
I'm moving my papers.
Yeah, it's a crackling sound. So that's what Brenda was saying. She couldn't hear you clearly.
Oh, that's because I was moving papers, trying to organize the little paperwork I still have.
Hopefully Darren and Mary are okay. I don't know what's going on with them. I'm sending my thoughts and prayers with you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, he said that you were doing the show tonight, and then he said I'm not there. Vinny's doing it tonight, and I was like, oh,
Brenda's with us. She just joined in.
hi Brenda.
Hey, you
Hi,
know what I
Brenda.
want to say? Just because you were talking about your little girl getting sick and they didn't give her medical treatment. Well, even though my case has been over since 2000, I guess 18, January, but yeah, there was and I wouldn't have known about it unless I look at all the reports and stuff that they put in. But my daughter got like she has autism, so she has this thing where she will literally just throw up, like, and she'll get really sick, she'll get a fever. We had, like, when she was even a baby, a toddler, she was in the hospital twice with IVs in her because she can't keep anything down. So what I find out is, instead of like watching over her all night long, they left her in a room alone. She woke up covered with throw up. She literally could have, she could have choked on her throw up or whatever, because if she was at home, we would, we just watch over her all night, have a bowl there, get ready for her, like if she could take anything in. And but they didn't even, like, it was the weekend, so they decided, oh, we're not even going to take her to the hospital at all. And it's just the way these children are not treated medically. It's really scary. It's really scary.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
scary. So
Seeing
how
how
come? Yeah, how come with her condition somebody wasn't there with her at all times? I mean, was she in a foster home or something?
Yeah, she was in a foster home, and she was separated from her little brother. They, for the most part, they kept my kids separated. Like,
no.
at that time, she was in Gainesville, and then my little boy they took to Lake City, and then finally, after a while, they took my daughter all the way down to Charlotte County, 6.5 hours away from my little boy, from us in Dixie County. And it ended up, and then I found her being abused in a foster placement there, where, like, this house was deplorable conditions. I had all the pictures. There was blankets over the windows. The only thing in the refrigerator was like a powder substance at the bottom. It's deplorable. I have my daughter's statement. She was what, 16 at that time, I believe. And she said that she was being abused by this Jason Katz that I mentioned earlier. I'm talking about sexually abusing, everything else. And he's a supervisor. He was a casework supervisor, okay? And he used to be an investigator for DCF, because I kind of looked into it, like, who is this? Because after finding out, when we were going through our case plan, come to find out, like, they lied to my son, who was like 25 at the time, was there to pick up both of my children after me and my husband were arrested for a decriminalized amount of weed at that time. And it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable that he came down for like an 8-hour trip from like Davie or something to come get the children. And once he got there, he made it in time for the there was a hearing. It's like that first hearing you have. Um, if you have a criminal charge and then they take your children. In fact, I wasn't even there. They went to my house, took the children, like, after they pounded on the door for an hour. The cop that my husband, or sheriff my husband was running against, was one of those people that was trying to threatened to bust the door down if the children didn't open it. And they were 10 and 12 at that time. And yeah, it was just like, how is that? And like you say, you don't see any of that report if they make all these allegations that, oh, the house was a mess, or there had rotting food sitting out, and it's like all these different things. Well, where are the pictures? Where is your evidence? It never showed any evidence whatsoever. They can just I
Make it
guess
up
it,
out of thin air.
yeah, no evidence at all. It's just unbelievable. And then they said, like, okay, so my children were taken April 2016. By the time September came around, they made some allegation. They brought in the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to take all our computers out of the house, any recording device, CDs. They took it all. They took all these things of, like, for 8 months. They kept all these things. They said there was a conflict. That's why they brought the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in. But they said they had a tape of my daughter, Sage, that she was saying that there was some type of abuse with my husband going on. And they apparently lied about this, because we waited and waited for this tape they said they had for months. And then finally, when my public defender, she looked at it and she said it was inaudible. You couldn't hear anything that she was saying. And when my husband was questioned about it, by the way, by the same lady that is responsible for these charges that are on my husband right now, her name is Jennifer Wolf. And she was questioning my husband. My husband said, my daughter doesn't talk like that. Why were you saying this, over and over again? She says, I know, like, she was innocent. She still believed in Santa Claus. She didn't know these terms at all. So to say, and it continues to do the same thing with my son, put words in the children's mouth, and then we never hear it coming out of the children. All we hear is that they're being abused, and come to visits with burns and scratches and bloody. I swear to God, it was just like all these things. And everybody thought we were like, I don't know, were we being overprotective? We usually were with our children. It's just like it says, it's very disheartening to see that you're going through that, which I went through that 8 years ago. And it's just, you're saying, Vinny, you're saying the same stuff that happened with me and my husband, except the difference with you is you didn't sign the case plan. We did. Okay. And I think it was like, oh, this was the quickest way to get your kids back, they're telling us. They were only asking us to do a few things, but along that time where you're going through the case plan, they'll try to bring up other things that could help them keep your children, I guess. They just make up these things.
Don't.
Yeah, exactly, Debbie. They don't have no evidence, and that's key, because the only thing they're using in this entire case is hearsay, that of someone who said she has known my children for years. Well, this woman, and I'm gonna name her because I'm blatantly don't care anymore. Her name is Jessica Layton. She has never met my children. I did find out through the grapevine that she was sexually abused by her own father. He got away with the charges. So she injected my name into a conversation that this child was having with her about my wife's father, and him being the one molesting all three kids. And she injected my name into this conversation because she doesn't like me because I called her a fat, nasty bitch. And told her to stay the hell out of my business.
And how long has your case been open, Vinny?
About a year now.
I thought if you didn't sign a case plan and didn't comply with them, they had to return your children after 30 days or 90 days.
That was my assumption too, and I'm not understanding what the hell is going on in this case.
What does it say in the
So did
policies and
your
procedures in your state for the CPS?
It says they have 120 days to prove everything.
And if not, then they
has
return the children?
has it
They
been
have,
100 and has it been 100 and something days so far?
oh, it's been over
Well
that,
over.
well
So
over that.
what is your attorney doing about it?
At this point, I don't know what Richard is actually looking into. I know he's exploring quite a few avenues on things. Um, and he's
Is your
trying to get
sorry, is your
records.
wife listed in on the case as well? Did she get a case plan that she signed?
She signed. That's where
That
this
might be your
all.
that might be the problem right there.
That's where it all went wrong because she signed a safety plan and she
Ah,
also signed their contract.
that makes sense, and that's why it's gone over the 120 days because someone signed a safety plan in the family.
So
And that sucks that it wrapped you up in it too. That's stupid.
But they also threatened her into signing the safety plan.
Oh, they do that to everybody, I believe.
And I'm trying to get Richard to understand and her attorney to understand by threatening her that they were going to take our children that day. That's a verbal threat.
That's a
They
coercion,
could be
yeah.
arrested for that. That's a
That's
threat.
coercion.
Not only did they threaten her, but they've silenced the hell out of my daughter Trinity, so she doesn't talk to us. They got
Ugh.
her believing that we want nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, that and when I used to go to after this allegation happened, where they had taken all of our computers and stuff, they stopped both of our visits, but then I got my visits back. Chris never got his visits back ever. And that funny thing about that, Jason Katz, like Chris is on the phone with him saying, "Why can't I see the kids? I don't understand. The investigation's over, at this point." And he said, "Because of your continued anti-government behavior." And now that gets back to like I'm telling you guys, the Fusion Exchange Bulletin. We happen to have a copy of it. Law enforcement works with the Department of Justice, making these fusion exchange centers where it doesn't matter if you ever broke a law in your life. If they feel you're some type of threat because of your videos, okay, that's what they feel is a threat to my husband, is his YouTube films, okay, where they have nothing to do with reality. He was been acting since he was like a kid. They used to film all this stuff. And they somehow think it's some type of reality that they can twist it around and say, "Hey, these are your beliefs. These are your beliefs." Now that's what I've been thinking. They came out because Chris used to do this Joker thing, and he did that with my two oldest kids also, where my daughter would dress up like Harley Quinn and walk around Cleveland, and we'd film it and stuff. And that daughter ended up being a successful doctor, graduated top of her class. My other oldest son, he's a doctor, so he participated in that as well. But when it came to, it's like we had kids later in life, but then they somehow think that these videos were corrupting my children to hate law enforcement. I'm like, where are you getting these ideas from? It's just like,
Well, Brenda, let me ask you a question. You said you have two children that are doctors. Am I correct?
well, actually, I have three children that are doctors. My three
Okay.
oldest are doctors that we homeschool.
Okay. So they're medical doctors. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Are those medical doctors helping you and your husband out with your situation and case with CPS and with Dixie County?
Well, the only one of our children that is helping us is our middle son, who's 33. And he lives close to where I am now. And if it wasn't for him, I'd be in the loony bin. But I think what happened with my two oldest, when I tried to rescue my daughter in 2019 out of that abusive foster placement and ended up having to go to prison, when they were trying to figure out where Sage was and where I was, they went and questioned my daughter and my oldest son in New Hampshire, where they are. And I believe that scared them away from even ever speaking to us again, because like my oldest son has a grandson. I mean, I have one grandson, and he didn't even tell me that he had a kid. This is how scared that they have made my family, that they don't even want to have communication with me because they're in fear that they're going to lose their own kid.
So your oldest children who are doctors are afraid to get involved with you and your husband's case.
Yeah, except for my middle son. He's in family medicine, and he's the one that came to pick up the children. He also is the same sibling that was approved and certified for adopting the two youngest. And he went through the ICPC, and because he was in Louisiana, and of course this case happened in Florida. Well, he was approved and certified. He got new beds. He rented an apartment that had enough bedrooms for everyone. He bought all brand new furniture for the children, passed the home study there, but then Florida refused to let my son take him. And then when I was locked up in the Charlotte County Jail, they adopted my children out to strangers, and I didn't find out about it till I got out of prison, like a year and 8 months later, and found out that, and they did it on April 1st, 2020. And I'm like, oh, really? And they would always do stuff like that on holidays or your kids' birthdays and stuff like that. It's like, how are they trying to destroy the parents that, like I say, people want to commit suicide? What can you do? There's like, they give you no avenue of relief. And when my husband makes a video and, gets a little gruesome with his video, hey, nobody's getting hurt from a cartoon, okay? But children in reality are getting hurt, okay? And they can lock us up all they want, but, God knows the truth. And look at how the storm's hitting over there in Florida now. Look, it's just unbelievable. I mean, go ahead.
So your middle son attempted to get Sage, his sister?
My youngest is now, at that time, I mean, they weren't adults. Now they're adults. And like I said,
no, I mean, at the time that Sage was taken, your son was old enough to, your son who's a doctor would have been old enough to take Sage, his sibling. Am I correct?
He was just actually finishing up medical school, and he had all his background check had already been, approved and everything. And that's what he was saying to the CPS, what do they call it? The CPI investigator, CPS investigator. And he's like, hey, I'll do anything I have to get my siblings in my care. Just tell me what I need to do. And they said, this is what Jason Katz come in. He told my son that he couldn't take the children because he rented. And then my son took it for fact because we didn't believe, we didn't know what was going on. Then it wasn't until months later I approached my son again. I'm like, what happened that day? And then he told me, and I'm saying, what's going on? Because they told me that my son said that it would be too hard to take care. And then my son shares the emails with me back and forth that they had with the CPS worker. And you can tell in his emails that he was genuinely so concerned that he's ready to stop his life to go help his he helped raise these kids. I'm telling you. I mean, my kids love him to death, and then they want to turn around and say, oh, my kids are afraid of him now? How did that happen? What are you putting in my kids' head if they ever even said that? I never believed they said that unless they're drugging the children,
Okay, you guys, we got to do a short break, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, and we're back.
Did
So,
you guys
yeah.
know that there's like a CPS and like attorneys, like, oh God, I forget what they call it, like a, not a suicide pact, but like a bet on which parent or which family member or which sibling will actually take their life first before the case is over?
What? No, I
Yeah,
never knew that.
I heard that straight from an actual lawyer, public defender. And I guess it's apparently it's in all the different courthouses and all the different places. They actually have like a little bet going on with each other to see who will last longer. Isn't that sick?
That's thick and twisted.
Yeah, right when she said it, that parents are, trying to like have parents, take it to their end, the wits end, and have them, they might commit suicide or at least take their own life. And that just like dinged in me. I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that.
I would never do that. You know why? Because I will never give up fighting, no matter what. I will get. It will kill me before I even give up.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And that's the way it should be. Even though your case may have closed, you still can fight.
Yeah.
You have that right. I was hoping, we might get Darren back, but I'm hoping that everything's going good with them too.
Yeah, you said
So
it wasn't Darren that's sick. It's Mary, right?
yeah, I think it's Mary. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys ever hear like, okay, so what I was assuming is that after our rights were terminated, and everybody kept telling us, well, when the kids turn 18, then they'll be able to do whatever they want, and that even my daughter would come to visit saying, when I turn 18, I'll do it. I can do what I want, and I'm going to come home. But then it gets to the point where no, you don't know where your children are. But there's a lady, what is her name? She has a way of finding kids after they turn 18, and it's through the Department of Motor Vehicles. Like if they are able, like if they don't have delays and they can apply for a driver's license. That's how she was finding kids for people. But she's saying in Florida that is really not possible because Florida has certain laws that prevent people from getting into that information. And I had asked her because she has found a lot of kids. Gosh, why can't I think of her name right off? But she's like part of that America's Taken. And I swear that it's just very strange that I thought we would make strides once the children turn to be adults, but it just like it's even more fearful not to know where your kids are, not to know if they're well, where they are. At least they could give you some type of update, at all.
There is an AI program that I'm not sure the name of it, but you can actually purchase it and you can take a picture of a child when they were young and throw it in the system, and it will generate to see if their pictures come up anywhere online or anything that's social media, even just pictures of them being on someone else's social media page. So you can at least, I'll have to find the name of the AI program, but it's really neat.
And the other thing too is what about those ancestry things? Have you ever thought about putting your saliva in a cup of ancestry just in case your children does the same thing? Then you'll reconnect.
I heard that's a very bad thing, that they are keeping the DNA and doing other things with it and making not clones, but doing things of it that are
What
not humanly nice.
It really reminds me of that
what
one
are they
movie. You
doing
ever
with
see
the
that?
DNA?
I'm not 100% sure, but I heard that they're collecting the DNA and they have it for some reason, I'll have to read up on it again because I just like
The
breezed
only
across
reason why
the
I brought
article.
that up because if Brenda's DNA is in Ancestry, for example, and Brenda's children down the road, they want to just look for their parents and they go into that Ancestry, you guys will connect immediately.
They have a couple of different
Immediately.
things. They have a worldwide thing and like another one for Florida that you sign, but that thing is through the Department of Justice, and I really, I can't really trust something like that. But as far as like the ancestry goes, I don't know. With the DNA, this is what I want to say. It's kind of well off there, but if you ever seen that Wolverine movie where the little girl was running around and then she was a little Wolverine as well, but that's what they were doing. They were collecting the children's DNA and they were, they're experimenting on children. I really believe this is what's going on. I mean, why would they want my kids? Are they blue eyes, dark hair, or they're genes? All their siblings are doctors. You think it's some type of experiment that they wanted to do on my children because they were so smart? I don't know. It's
Is it?
out there, but it just
Is,
freaks
is
me
it?
out.
Okay. Hey, Vinny, is it possible that Debbie Anderson could come on? She has a lot to say. I'm sure she wants to explain things to us because her
She,
last comment was that it's wrong. She mentioned
she,
something before about brain worship with the TV and something about children. I would like to hear what she's trying to explain to us. Can
uh,
can
she,
can Debbie
she,
Anderson come on?
she tried to come on, but I guess it kicked her out or something. But what she's saying is that there was a child found in a foster parent's home, buried out back. The body was found. And
That's
it was
next to the bus, right?
y-
It was buried out back next to a bus.
Channel 12. It is a news station in Wichita, Kansas. There was a child that was adopted that was found in a backyard in Rose Hill, Kansas. And she stated
Okay.
that they had it out there on the TV show. So
Okay. And then she goes on about saying something about my daughter will not sign and nothing, and that is wrong. So I'm trying to piece together what she's trying to
her,
explain to us.
her daughter will not sign a contract with
Oh,
CPS.
okay. Okay.
Her daughter thinks like I've known Debbie for a while, and I've talked to her, and I've talked to her daughter. And her daughter has seen my lives quite a few times. When I was on TikTok, and that she followed me like quite often when I was on. So
Okay.
she knows a lot about what's going on in my case because I explained my case on TikTok a lot.
Okie dokie.
I hate to cut everybody short, but I've got to do the intake here at the shelter. So I will
All right,
see you
Ash. Well,
guys all tomorrow night.
we're gonna do last words because we're about at that time. So
Perfect.
I'll let you start, Ashley. Last
Oh,
words.
fantastic. Yeah. If you're in any shoes like me, just keep fighting. Things happen, things come up, but it is not worth your life or your children's safety. So just keep fighting and
Absolutely.
keep your head up because things could happen from day to day. You just never know.
Absolutely. Awesome, Ash. We'll see you later, Dylan.
Yes, I'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Have a good night.
You
Good
too.
night.
Herbert. Last words,
For
Herbert.
those of you who are not part of CPS, learn all you can about CPS. And as you can listen to this show right now, you don't want to be part of this situation. So try to avoid everything that will put you on their radar so you don't become part of this issue with CPS. That's what I like to say to many people.
Awesome, Herbert. Brenda. Last words.
Yeah, I always refer to that Tom Petty song where I won't back down and I won't let this world drag me around or whatever. Just don't give up. That's all I can say. It's your kids are worth it.
Absolutely. And my last words are this: keep fighting. Never give up. Do not let CPS in your door over the weekend. Um, try to avoid contact with CPS if you possibly can. And remember, document everything that goes on with CPS guys, because if you don't, you have nothing to use against them down the road. So with that said, I hope you all have a great night. I am going to be on the show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Hopefully, I stream from 9 to 10, sometimes a little over. So please come join me to Saturday night for Vinny's show live. Until next time, we are out of here.
Mm-hmm.